Thank you, Mr. Angel. We've had an outstanding nearly 2.5 days of an external team here visiting Lafayette Parish. I want to introduce the chairman of that external review committee and ask this individual to make some comments to the board. The chairperson of this committee is Mr. Bill Rivenbark. So, Bill, would you take the floor?
We've had a great review, and thank all of you for joining us here today. I'm going to present a brief exit report of our findings from the review. And when I say brief, I mean brief, because the more detailed report will be coming to the district in about 4 to 6 weeks. So this is just, as I said, a brief overview. I'd like to introduce my team. First of all, let me tell you that I'm a retired superintendent from North Carolina, and I've been working with Advanced Ed for about 8 years in district accreditation, or system accreditation now, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I've been to Louisiana several times, and it's always a joy, and it's been a joy to be here at Lafayette. First of all, I'd like to introduce my Associate Lead Evaluator, Andrea Okonsky. Andrea, stand up. Andrea is the Chief Academic Officer in the East Baton Rouge District. And Dr. Lexi Cunningham. Lexi is Superintendent in Tullison Union High School District in Arizona. Marie Aiken. Marie is Assistant Principal for Instruction at the Captain Shreve High School in Caddo Parish, Louisiana. Dr. John Stewart. John is Director of Assessment and Accreditation with Faulkner University in Alabama. Denise Carpenter. Denise is Chief Student Support Officer in Jefferson Parish. And Pamela Goodwin. Pamela is Director of Accountability and School Improvement for the Greenville Public School District in Greenville, Mississippi. It's been a great joy to be with all of these people. It was a great team, very effective, very efficient. Combining the knowledge and expertise of a research institute, the skills of a management consulting firm, and the passion of a grassroots movement for educational change, we served as a trusted partner to 32,000 schools and school systems, employing more than 4 million educators and enrolling more than 20 million students across the United States and 70 other nations. Advanced Ed was created through a 2006 merger of the pre-K-12 divisions of the North Central Association, also known as NCA, and the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, known as SACS, and expanded through the 2011 acquisition of the Northwest Accreditation Association. Advanced Ed is the largest community of education professionals in the world. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that conducts rigorous, on-site external reviews of pre-K-12 schools and school systems to ensure that all learners realize their full potential. While our expertise is grounded in more than 100 years of work in school accreditation, Advanced Ed is far from a typical accrediting agency. Our goal isn't to certify that schools are good enough. Rather, our commitment is to help schools to improve. The external review process stimulates and guides continuous improvement through a focus on 3 areas, as you can see here: teaching and learning impact, leadership capacity, and resource utilization. You can see here that within the external review, the professional judgment by the external review team will result in powerful practices, opportunities for improvement priorities, an index of educational quality, and a recommendation for accreditation. All districts during this accreditation process will receive powerful practices, opportunities for improvement, and improvement priorities, no matter how good they are. This next slide illustrates that we've been busy for the last couple of days. Besides our deliberations too late in the evenings, we actually talked with 257 people. We interviewed 257 people. That was a lot of work for 7 people over 2 days. The first number there needs to be corrected. We said Board of Education was 0. We did interview 1, and we're going to interview some more next week. But the board was at a state conference this week that coincided with this. So we will do those board interviews, but we'll continue those next week. We interviewed the superintendent. We interviewed 83 administrators, 68 instructional staff, 10 support staff, 62 students, and 33 parents, community, or business leaders, as you can see, again, for a total of 257. The first domain that I'm going to talk about is the teaching and learning impact domain. And this comprised of the indicators for Standard 3 and Standard 5, Standard 3 being teaching and assessing for learning, and Standard 5 being continuous improvement, and the 4 evaluative criteria for the student performance diagnostic. And what I'm going to share with you in each one of these domains are some of the team's findings. Not all of our findings, because they will be contained in the full report. As I said, they'll be coming in 4 to 6 weeks. But these are just a few of the findings. And even though they're findings here, they may or may not generate an action, whether it be a powerful practice or an opportunity for improvement or an improvement priority. But these are overall findings, some of them. Our first finding, the Effective Learning Environments Observation Tool, which we call Elliot, the scores reveal that the system's classrooms are well managed and staffed with caring, supportive teachers. We were able to go into 79 of the district's classrooms and do an evaluation of what the students were doing using this tool. And this is one of our findings from the tool. Lafayette Parish students are positive and actively engaged in the teaching and learning process. While teachers were often observed providing support and assistance, there was inconsistent evidence of differentiated instruction or varying strategies to meet individual needs. And this was observed also using the Elliot tool. Next, although there are limited processes being implemented at the school level which focus on providing a long-term adult mentor for each child, there is no systemic protocol that clearly outlines a structure for providing meaningful long-term student-mentor relationships to support the academic, social, and emotional needs of students. There are some things going on in pockets in some of the schools, but the Advanced Ed Indicator asks for a systemic protocol. Next, classroom environment or Elliot observations revealed a need for teachers to provide students with exemplars, such as rubrics and work products, to clearly define assignment expectations. And a systemic focus on training and engaging all appropriate personnel or staff, which includes your licensed and your support staff, appropriate support staff, in the interpretation and use of student performance data can lead to building a stronger foundation and institutional capacity for data-driven decision making. Your district has been doing a lot of training in this area, and we just know that there needs to be more, and that was acknowledged by some of the interviews that we had. But just keep up the training. Current system-wide assessment processes need to be connected to a systemic professional development plan to ensure the alignment of curriculum, instruction, and assessment to establish verifiable improvement in student learning. And this is something your district or system is already working on, and we're just encouraging that process. Grading and reporting practices and procedures should be based on clearly defined criteria that represent the attainment of content, knowledge, and skills that are consistent across classrooms throughout the district. This next slide is talking about Elliot, and these are our Elliot results. As I said, using this tool, we were able to go into 79 of the system's classroom. And remind you that the purpose of Elliot is to identify observable evidence of classroom environments that are conducive to learning. The focus of the tool is to ensure that learners are engaging, acting, reacting, and benefiting from various contexts or environments that should be evident in all learning settings. The Elliot averages by the external review team are listed next to the Advanced Ed Network's score. You can see the district score under external review and the AEN score. Now, what the AEN is, it's the average of all classrooms that were visited in system accreditation last year across the country by Advanced Ed. That was all thrown in and averaged out, and that's the score that popped up from all the states where the Elliot observations were being done. The district is getting a much more detailed report of what Elliot findings are, which will be shared with the principals and in turn with the teachers. Okay, the next domain is leadership capacity. And this domain includes all of the indicators from Standard 2, Governance and Leadership, and Standard 1, Purpose and Direction, and the evaluative criteria from the Stakeholder Feedback Diagnostic. Our first finding in this domain: the Lafayette Parish Board of Education aligns its decisions with system purpose and ensures that leadership at all levels of the organization has the autonomy necessary to achieve the goals of the system and its schools. The system has strong partnerships with community organizations and institutions of higher learning, which support student success and system direction. District leadership, through a transformation of culture, is poised to design, implement, and monitor systemic processes and programs which support the attainment of performance excellence for students and staff. There have been an incredible number of initiatives begun since this summer, and there are many more on the drawing board right now, and this is a tremendous commendation to district leadership. The system and its schools communicate with stakeholders using many effective strategies. However, increased involvement of external stakeholders with system and school continuous improvement efforts will serve to increase community support for district goals and initiatives. The last domain is that of resource utilization, and this contains all of the indicators from Standard 4, which is resources and support systems. The system is implementing programs and services in support of the counseling, physical, emotional, and social needs of its students. A systematic process for the monitoring and evaluation of these programs and services for effective implementation will assist in providing all students with the very best targeted support services. The system's continuous and comprehensive plan for technology must be evaluated regularly to meet the needs of the 21st century learner. The plan should be designed to address effective instructional practices, assessment requirements, and the overall operations of the schools, of the system. And lastly, the system has a plan to address identified facility maintenance and upgrades, and we were able to witness a lot of those needs during our time here. You can see here the Index of Educational Quality. This is, in its three categories, provide the institution with a clear picture of their current reality and a roadmap toward excellence. There are 39 total criteria included in what we call the IEQ, which are related to teaching and learning impact, 21 of them, 11 related to leadership capacity, and 7 related to resource utilization. Our hope is that you will drill down into the individual indicators behind each of these scores to help you identify strengths you want to maintain and to help you identify areas of improvement. And the report that will be coming to the district that I talked about will have that kind of information in it that will allow the district to be able to do that drilling down. This slide illustrates the institution's progress in each of the three categories and as an overall index of educational quality. I know those numbers don't mean much to you now, but they will be in the report when it comes. For too many years, institutions have been judged based upon disparate and unrelated summative data points that fail to paint an accurate, holistic review of the quality of an institution. The scores have been used to target schools for punitive interventions as opposed to providing a formative assessment that guides sustainable progress and improvement. In 2013, Advanced Ed introduced an innovative and state-of-the-art framework to measure institutional performance that offers a deeper understanding of organizational effectiveness. The Index of Educational Quality, the IEQ, provides a holistic measure of an institution's overall performance based on the comprehensive set of indicators and evaluative criteria. As a formative tool for improvement, it pinpoints areas of strength as well as those in need of support. As I said, much more information concerning the IEQ will be forthcoming in the report. Okay, now we're at the point where I think why all of you are here. So a little drum roll. The external review team recommends to the Advanced Ed Accreditation Commission that the Lafayette Parish School System earn the distinction of accreditation by Advanced Ed. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now bear in mind that this team can only make the recommendation. The recommendation goes from us to the Advanced Ed Commission on Accreditation, which will be meeting in June. And that commission will make the final decision. I don't think you have a problem, though. This slide details what the next step for the institution will be. You will receive improvement priorities, and they must be addressed within 2 years. Every district, no matter how good it is, has to have at least one improvement priority. That's a rule. So you're going to get at least one. And you must address that within the 2 years. It's the beginning of a journey of improvement based on our findings, deliberate and strategic actions to ensure that every child every day is being prepared and achieving success for their future. The team would like to shows its appreciation for your hospitality, support, and professionalism, respects and acknowledges the efforts to improve the quality of your institution, and congratulates your system and community on completing the requirements for Advanced Ed school system accreditation. And this concludes the external review report.
Bill, just on behalf of my staff, I want to thank you and your team for being reflective and brutally honest with us. We're going to take to heart recommendations and work very closely to continue improving the Lafayette Parish school system. And just as a final thought, I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Annette Samick. She led this endeavor toward Advanced Ed accreditation. She had a very strong team, core team, and to the principals, the teachers, the entire system that rallied together. We had a lot of plates spinning along the way, but I think the end result is that we've got a tool that we can use and will continue to use over the next couple of years to improve practice. Thank you.
I have just one question before we adjourn this workshop, and that's to the young lady from Mississippi. Is that where Doe's Restaurant and Tamale Restaurant is in Greenville, Mississippi? Ma'am, I want you to know I spent a week there one Saturday night. This workshop is adjourned.
Principals and school-based administrators, Ms. Dickerson's asking if you'd stick around a second so she can go over the guidelines to reboot your school's networks.